No one really tells you what it feels like to think too much. Not in a busy day kind of way, not in a I have a lot on my mind kind of way. I mean structurally. Like your brain is running a process that you never asked to start and can't figure out how to pause. From the outside, it looks like focus, like depth, like someone who gets it faster than everyone else. But from the inside, it mostly just feels loud. Here's what a normal morning looks like for someone whose mind works like this. You wake up, and before you've reached for your phone, you're already mid-thought. Not a new thought. A continuation of one that was running while you slept. You read something over breakfast, and by the time you finished the paragraph, you followed 5 threads the writer never intended, found 2 contradictions, and started building a counter-argument to a point no one actually made. That's not impressive from the inside. That's just Tuesday. The exhaustion of it is real, not physical, something closer to mental friction, like a machine that never drops below idle. And the strangest part, you're never sure how much of it is useful and how much of it is just the engine running because it doesn't know another speed. There's a specific thing that happens when your brain is wired toward pattern recognition. It doesn't stay in the places you need it. You're sitting in a meeting. Someone makes a comment. And you notice, before anyone else, that the comment doesn't match something they said 3 weeks ago. You notice the slight shift in someone's posture when a particular topic comes up. You notice the thing that wasn't said. From the outside, this looks like being perceptive, intuitive even. But internally, you're at a dinner with people you care about. Someone is quieter than usual, and instead of just being present with that, your mind has already run the calculation. Is it something I did? Something from last week? Is this the beginning of a distance I should be preparing for? All while someone is asking you to pass the salt. The pattern recognition doesn't switch off just because the situation doesn't need it. It runs on everything, on everyone, especially on the people you love. And it is exhausting to live that way. Not because you're anxious, but because your mind treats everything like a problem worth solving. Here's something that tends to catch people off guard. A lot of people who think this way feel genuinely, quietly lonely. Not because they don't have relationships, but because real connection, the kind where you feel fully met, is surprisingly rare. Most conversation lives near the surface. And that's fine. That's human. But if your mind naturally pulls toward depth, toward the uncomfortable questions, the contradictions, the thing underneath the thing someone just said, you learn, early, to edit yourself. Someone asks what you think about something, and the real answer is long and layered and a little too honest. So you give them the shorter version, the version that won't shift how they look at you. And over time, that editing becomes automatic. You're in a conversation, you have a thought, and before you say it, you've already run it through. Is this too much? Will this land? Should I simplify this? And sometimes you simplify it so much it doesn't even mean what you wanted it to mean anymore. From the outside, you seem calm, measured, easy to talk to. From the inside, you are always translating. And the weight of that, of never quite saying the full thing, accumulates. There's a kind of perfectionism that looks like discipline from the outside. But it isn't. It's this. You finish something, a project, a piece of writing, a decision, and the moment it's done, you can already see every place it falls short of what it could have been. Not because your standards are high, because you can see it. The gap between what exists and what you imagined. And you can't unsee it. So you either push until you've closed the gap, which is never, because the gap moves, or you stop before you finish. Because finishing makes the distance permanent. A lot of people who think this way have folders full of unfinished things, abandoned projects, Ideas that got 80% of the way there and then stalled. Not from laziness, from the specific pain of making something real and having to look at its limitations clearly. It's easier sometimes to leave it almost done. Almost done still has potential. This is the part that's hardest to explain. There's a kind of restlessness that sits underneath everything else. Not depression, not anxiety. Something quieter and more persistent than either. It's the feeling of reaching, always reaching, and never quite landing. You go deep into something, a subject, a question, a person. And for a while, it feels like this is it. This is the thing that will finally satisfy whatever this hunger is. And then you arrive. And it doesn't. From the outside, that looks like inconsistency or ingratitude. You have so much, why aren't you satisfied? But it's not about satisfaction. It's that your sense of what's possible is always slightly larger than what actually exists. And you can't turn that off. You can't decide to want less, so you keep reaching, and you learn to carry the distance. One more thing, and this one surprises people the most. We tend to assume that being highly analytical means you're somehow protected from emotion, buffered, rational, less reactive. The opposite is often true. When you feel something, grief, rejection, embarrassment, love, you feel it and you think it simultaneously. You're inside the feeling, and you're also standing slightly outside it, naming it, tracing it back to its source, wondering if it's proportionate, wondering if your analysis of it means you're not really inside it at all. It becomes a loop. Someone says something that stings, and instead of just feeling stung and moving on, you spend the next hour reconstructing the conversation, identifying the exact word that landed wrong, and building 3 different theories about what they might have meant. From the outside, you seem fine, composed. From the inside, you are anywhere but here. The loop runs until it runs out of material. I don't want to end this with something clean, because this isn't a clean experience. If your mind works like this, if any of this felt uncomfortably familiar, I'm not here to tell you it's a gift. I'm not here to tell you it's a curse either. It's more like a particular frequency that most people can't hear. One that has real advantages, yes, and real costs. Costs that are invisible, because the world mostly sees the output and not the process, not the tabs that never close, not the translation layer, not the reaching that never stops. Those stay private. So if you've been carrying this quietly, the hum, the loneliness, the restlessness, just know the experience is real. The exhaustion is real. And you're not broken for finding it hard to live somewhere the rest of the world can't quite follow. Some people get to turn their minds off. Not everyone does.